On the eve of the First Crusade, the Mediterranean basin was a vibrant and complex region, divided among several powerful entities, each vying for dominance and influence. These divisions set the stage for the dramatic and transformative events that were about to unfold. In the east, the Fatimid Caliphate, ruled by a Shia dynasty, held sway over Egypt. Despite facing numerous revolts over the previous half-century and losing control of the Maghreb and parts of Syria, the Fatimids remained a formidable force. Their wealth, bolstered by Egypt's fertile lands and lucrative trade routes, and their large fleet made them one of the principal actors of the period. Cairo, the Fatimid capital, was a bustling center of culture, learning, and commerce. To the north, the Sunni Abbasid caliphs in Baghdad theoretically controlled the entire Near East. However, the region had come under the domination of the Seljuk Turks, a formidable group of warriors from Central Asia who had embraced Islam. The Seljuks had recently seized Jerusalem from the Fatimids and were consolidating their power in Anatolia, following their decisive victory over the Byzantine Empire at the Battle of Manzikert in 1071. This victory allowed them to establish a significant presence in the region, challenging Byzantine authority. Syria at this time was a mosaic of diverse peoples and religions, divided into several emirates and sultanates, including those of Antioch, Aleppo, Damascus, and Tripoli. These territories were often controlled by Turkish lords who had recently converted to Islam. Despite their shared religion, these emirates and sultanates were practically independent and frequently engaged in warfare with one another, further fragmenting the region's political landscape. The Byzantine Empire, though still a major power, was under significant threat. The defeat at Manzikert had severely weakened Byzantine control over Anatolia, and the empire found itself appealing to the Pope in Rome for assistance. These appeals contributed to the growing momentum for a crusade from the west. The Byzantines were particularly vulnerable as they faced multiple fronts. They had to contend with Norman knights in southern Italy, who had been eroding Byzantine influence since the 1030s. The Normans had also conquered Islamic Sicily, establishing a powerful feudal kingdom that was a melting pot of Greek, Latin, and Islamic cultures. In Italy, several independent city-states such as Amalfi, Genoa, Pisa, and Venice were rising as significant players in Mediterranean trade. These maritime republics maintained strong commercial ties with the ports of the Near East, facilitating the flow of goods, wealth, and ideas across the Mediterranean. Their naval prowess and economic interests would later play crucial roles in the Crusades. The Iberian Peninsula was another area of dynamic change. The collapse of the Caliphate of Cordoba had led to the fragmentation of Muslim rule into various independent emirates known as the Taifas. This fragmentation allowed the Christian kingdoms to push southwards, with King Alfonso VI of Castile capturing Toledo in 1085. However, the Christian advance was temporarily halted by the arrival of the Almoravids, a formidable Islamic force from the Maghreb who sought to reinforce Muslim rule in Iberia. Despite the conflicts over territories, islands, and strategic straits, the Mediterranean remained a crucial hub of exchange. Merchants, soldiers, pilgrims, and intellectuals continuously crisscrossed the region, facilitating the transfer of goods, literature, and ideas. This constant movement enabled rich cultural exchanges and the diffusion of knowledge across different societies. The Mediterranean was a dynamic and interconnected world, where despite political and religious divisions, the flow of commerce and culture continued to thrive. As the First Crusade loomed on the horizon, the Mediterranean basin was a region of stark contrasts and profound connections. The interplay of diverse powers, cultures, and economies set the stage for the unprecedented mobilization of Western European forces towards the east, marking the beginning of a new and transformative era in the history of the Mediterranean world.